What is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, you are watching TWA Motorsports, and today honestly, I'm going to show you something that I've got back sitting over here. I kind of hinted to it. I think I showed you guys a blip of it in a video a while back on the green truck, but we're still waiting on tuning for the Tahoe. So I really want to get this thing rolling and running. It's still doing that thing where it starts, it runs for like a second, and then it dies. That's basically all I'm getting right now. And it's tuning related, I know, but it's still frustrating. I just want to get this thing rolling. And the next thing I want to do or move to after that is I want to get that red truck parted out there. So the turbo truck, guys, I went back and forth. I told you guys I was going to possibly use it for a work truck. Well, now we've got a red work truck. And so the plan is to park that thing out. And I've listed a couple things on it for sale, like the bed and the tailgate, the bumpers and stuff like that, some miscellaneous interior pieces. But the goal is to rob that turbo kit off of that truck and put it on the green truck. You guys know I've always wanted to put a turbo on the green truck, or at least some of you have been following me for a while. That's something I've always wanted to do. Well, in the meantime, what I'm going to be showing you today is a 6-liter. Okay, so I had a couple blocks sitting back here in the past that I finally got out to my local machine shop. One of which was the Suburban. I bought a 2009 Suburban probably a year or so ago on the channel. Had a blown motor, piston exploded in like cylinder number 7, and it was toast. Aluminum block, 5.3. I kept it back here because I didn't know whether it was salvageable or not. I figured it probably wasn't based on the way the rods looked, or the rod bearings, because they were literally melted together. I barely got them apart. But I kept it back here, and I kept another 6-liter back here. I recently took both those to my machine shop, and I say recently, it's been about a month or two now. And he verified that the 5.3 was indeed bad, but the 6-liter I knew was good. I just wanted to have him redo it. Well, the original plan was to take the 6-liter, put some better pistons and rods in it, and then actually pull the 5.3 out of the green truck and put this in it. So what I had him put together is a higher compression 6-liter. So guys, what we've got here is a stock 6-liter block, 3rd gen 6-liter block. So nothing real crazy there. Okay, all new cam bearings. I think he uses King main bearings or rod bearings. I don't really know. I don't get much into that, but forged pistons, I believe they're DSS. It is a flat top piston. It is I think an Eagle connecting rod. I'm terrible at this, guys. I just told him, I said, look, I'd like to make under 1,000 horsepower. I don't need anything crazy. Stock crank, better rods, better pistons. So that's what we've got right here. I'm terrible at that. I know I should be better. But I told him also I wanted to run an LS3 head, and I wanted to have like 11-ish to 1 compression, somewhere around that area. So he did all that specs for me. So that is the plan, is to put LS3 heads on this. I like the flow of the LS3 heads. I wanted a bigger displacement motor than what the truck had, but now plans have changed just a little bit, like they do all the time here. And I've decided this 6-liter is actually gonna go in the 55. I'm currently working with a buddy of mine that has a shop, has done some stuff for me in the past, 417 Motorsports. And I'm planning on right now taking him the 55 and letting him getting it together. That'll pull something out of my hair. He's a lot better at fabbing stuff up. I'm not exactly sure what we're gonna do there, but I am gonna start putting some stuff in this motor today. And so that's what I was gonna show you. So I wanna talk about kind of what's going on with the Tahoe, the green truck. I'm still waiting on getting a decent day and time to get this down to the alignment shop. The red car is ready to rock. I need to get to alignment shop. I've got a base tune for it, but until I get it aligned, I can't do the driving and tuning portion of that. So now what's gonna go in the green truck? If you're gonna put this in the in the 55, what's gonna go in the green truck? Well, the plan is to take everything out of the red truck out there, because that is also a forged bottom end motor, and swap that to the green truck eventually. So that stuff is coming, guys. I want the red truck here where the Tahoe is, so I can yank stuff apart, and then you know how I am, I'm gonna clean some stuff up. I want that motor completely ready, locked up, ready to go before I pull anything off the green truck. So that is the plan. But anyway, in today's video, I have a ton of parts over here. Oil pumps. I've got a special cam for this motor that I had spec'd out a long time ago. And yes, it is built for boost. And so that is the plan, is we are going to slide the cam in this thing. We're going to try to put some of the front stuff together. I don't know all the stuff that I have. I ordered a set of lifters today, so hopefully they will be here soon. I still don't have a set of heads. I need a set of LS3 heads and head studs and some other stuff. But anyway, let's get started. Let's pop this cam open. Let's get some assembly lube and let's make a mess. Now, one of the things that I've done recently is I generally get my camshafts from GP Tuning. I tell Matt what I'm doing. He specs out a cam and I just trust his judgment. That's the way I did it in the Trans Am. That's the cam that's in the green truck. The only cam that I haven't done that with recently is the one in the Tahoe, and because I was just trying to do a Brian Tooley cam with the 5.3, but obviously you guys know how that went. But here's the specs on this thing. Looks like it is a 226, 236. Valve lift is 616, 616, and this is on a, what, 114 lobe separation. So, you know, decent size cam for what I'm going to be doing. I told him, I was like, look, I don't want to have any idle problems or anything like that. Like, I don't want a big, it's going to have some chop to it, but it's not going to be like where I have to put it neutral and rev it up, or the tuner has an issue tuning it. But anyway, one of the things that he does is all his cams, I believe, come from Cam Motion. That's who grinds them for him. He specs them out, they grind them. I'm going to take this thing out. I'm going to clean it really good with brake clean. Sometimes there's some burrs left on it, and I just like to make sure it's nice and clean before we try shoving that in a fresh motor. After I've cleaned it off with some brake clean, let it set and dry, and I've got some Melling assembly lube. This is generally what I use. I've been using it for years. It's been great. And I put it on pretty thick. I'll try to show you. I'm going to put a little on there and get this started, but I've got a couple of water pump bolts in the end. Actually a little bigger than a water pump bolt, but that'll help guide it when we get closer to the end. But be very careful when you're going together with this thing. I'll try to stop and show you midway through here. I've got it started here, but I want to show you, like, I know some people only put it on, some people put it on the cam lobes like I do. Some people just put it on the bearings. I generally do both, and I do, like, as you can see, I use quite a bit. You can buy more. And then I'm going to take my hands, without the camera in them, and smear this around and make a huge mess in my gloves. But I'm really globbing it on there. I don't care if it drips on the ground. We just want to make sure this cam's nice and coated. It's going to be a while before it runs. So the more we put on there, the better off we are, in my opinion. So we got that camshaft all in. Generally your machine shops will do this, but I still like to go over it. The little brake clean, make sure the surface is nice, and it looks like they've already cleaned it all off. I'm gonna have to go over this. They did paint the block, which we'll go through and scrub that all off too, where the front cover is gonna set. Don't know how deep we're gonna get today. I just don't know how many parts I've got. But anyway, now we've got the cam retainer area cleaned off. I've got a brand new set of GM bolts, and they already have thread locker on them. And then we have the actual plate itself. So look, guys, you can order 2 of these plates. There's still 2 part numbers available. You want the one, if you're using the new bolts, you've got to have the countersunk holes. I don't know if you can see that or that picks up on camera. I think it should. But you've got to have the special bolts that are countersunk if you're using this one. If you're using the other one, they're a button head, or like the standard, like just a regular bolt head on the top of them. I'm going to start these, and then we're going to torque them to 18 foot-pounds. One of the things I always do is I run these in as far as I can by hand and try to center that plate up, because here's another thing. If you tighten these down and they're not seated correctly, you will crack that plate. You're going to have oil pressure problems. We don't want to have that. So you can see I'm putting them in by hand, kind of in an alternating fashion. Same way with these. And then that's how I'm going to torque them. So I'll torque top, bottom, right, left, and I'll go through it twice. And the cool thing, if you order these from GM, like I did, they come with the thread locker on them. Like I said, you don't have to do anything here. So let's get these snugged up by hand. Looks good. Let's torque them down. As far as chains go, you can buy whatever you want. I will tell you that most of the time I use stock components when available. So with that being said, I've got a stock timing gear, and I have a stock LS3 timing chain. I just have had really good luck with these. So you guys can use what you want as far as timing components go, but so far I've never had any problems using this stuff on vehicles that I've done in the past. So I don't run them that hard though, right? So there is better components out there. Even the Tahoe has a better timing setup than this, but I'm going to use it like this, and we will just go from there. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to get us dot to dot here. So we'll roll this around, see if we can get these dots to match up. See the dot on the bottom. It's really easy to show you when I don't have an oil pump in the way. We'll see if we can get those dots lined up, and I'll try to get the chain on, and then I've got some ARP bolts to put in to hold this guy on. Notice I've got it lined up here, dot to dot, straight up, straight down. I've got these bolts started, but what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one out at a time. I'm going to put some of the ARP assembly lube on them, and then I'm going to torque them to 25 foot-pounds. Got it all tightened up. So what I like to do after I do that is I like to roll the motor over, and I like to make sure that that hits. Ooh, those are snug. So we should, when we get back to the rolling or the dot, they should line up again. And that is, yeah, I mean, I went a little past, but perfect. If I try to go backwards, it'll loosen up the bolt, I'm sure. Oh, maybe not. Okay, there we go. Now, some people complain about the slop. These do have a little slop in them, I'm not gonna lie, but like I said, I've never had a problem. So seems fine to me. Some people would argue, but I've ordered the most expensive chain and had that much slop before as well, so we'll see. Hopefully we don't have any issues. Just looks like a lot. Next thing I've done is I ordered a Melling pump, and I'm gonna try to get it seated on here, maybe. There we go. And so here's what I'm gonna do. I've done this a couple times in past videos. I am gonna try to shim this. So basically how this works is we start our bolts, which I'm gonna come back and put thread locker on, by the way. Just a little blue thread locker. We start our bolts in here, and we get them, you know, ran down where the pump still will move back and forth like this. And I don't know how imperative this is because I've done it both ways. I've just stuck these on and went, and then I've actually pulled the cover off and tried to shim them and torque them down once they're shimmed. So I don't know. You guys do what you want to do. It seems like when I have them out and they're easy to access, I'll do them like this. When they're in the vehicle and I've got to like try to, you know, sneak feeler gauges in there, I do it that way. Or I don't do it that way. I just slap it on and go. So let's get these snug down. Like I said, it should still be able to move. See how much movement it has back and forth. What we're trying to do is we're trying to eliminate that slop and torque it down once the slop's out of it. But in order to do that, we need to take these torques out, which I'm going to do now. Yeah. All right, let's go grab the, I think that's a T30 or a 25. Once we have that off, you can see what I'm talking about. So what we're going to attempt to do is we're going to attempt to put 3 feeler gauges, at least 3 in here. We're going to try to put one right here. We're going to try to put one right here, and we're going to try to put one up at the top. And then once we get those in there, and I can get equal ones in each side, then we'll go ahead and take one of these bolts out, put a little thread sealant on it, take the next one out, put a little thread, and we'll torque them all back and forth. So I'll go here, 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 and then I'll double check it before we put this back together. At this point, it's kind of looks terrible, but I've got all my shims in here, and I think I'm using 0.005 millimeter. But now that we've got that, you see how we have no movement? I mean, we do have some, but once I torque that down, then I could pull these guys out and we will be good. We don't have to worry about anything else other than I'm going to put a little oil in here, and then we'll, like I said, use a little Loctite on these, and we will torque them down. I believe they go to 18, but I'll double check that. Got them all in with blue Loctite. Let's torque them to 18. I was right. Got that all torqued down, got the feeler gauges pulled out. I'm gonna put a little oil in these openings so it's not such a dry start. I thought that melling did that, but it sure seems kind of dry in there. And then we'll put the cover back on and torque that to 106 inch-pounds. Not foot-pounds, inch-pounds. Now we got that all tightened up. I flipped the motor over because we have a special pickup tube that we have to run. I bought this from MS Muscle Cars. This is because we are using a 55 specific pan. So we're gonna have to take that 13 off back there. I'm gonna put a little bit of probably oil on this so we make sure that it seats. We wanna make sure it's the right one. It seems to be, and they sent it with this. The other thing I'm gonna be using is they sent me the girdle that basically is a support so it gets both sides. And you notice the melting pump has a bolt for both sides so we can pin this thing down so it doesn't come loose. I've never had that happen, but apparently it's an issue. That's why they make these. Maybe it starts to sneak off a little bit down here. Not gonna lie to you guys, I already lost my 10mm. Don't know where it went. That's how things go out here. Anyway, got that girdle on there. You can see what I'm talking about. It's kind of got a thicker portion here to make up for the spot that it doesn't have on this side. You can kind of see what I'm talking about, how it goes down and meets with this. Nice piece. 106 inch-pounds on this guy. 18 on this one. Fits nice, no movement. Downside is the pan is on the 55 right now, so I can't put the pan on, but I can roll this motor back around. I was hoping to get this done so I could put the front cover on, so I'm hoping to do that next if I have all the parts. Actually, I have everything I need. I didn't know if I did or not, but I've got seal. Actually, I have 2 seals. I think I have 2, possibly 3 timing covers. This is what happens when you forget you order parts. You have a whole bunch of parts laying around. GM timing cover, stock front cover. I will tell you guys that I've got a specialty tool to make sure this stuff all lines up. I've got part of it started here. It's a pan simulator. That's what this guy is. Bolts in the 2 front holes, and then it will bolt in to the bottom of the cover holes when we get it started. But this will go in last. I'm gonna go ahead and get the gasket lined up. I've cleaned both surfaces off, this and the front cover. Got 8 bolts right there for our front cover. And let's go ahead and see if we can get this thing started. And then I'll talk about how we're gonna center up this and what this all means here. You can see we got the new gasket back there. Got all my factory bolts in place. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this guy in, maybe. There we go. And that is going to keep our spot. So we're going to go ahead and snug these up. And I'm going to run them down probably to 18 foot-pounds. I'll probably run them down by hand first. And then we'll keep pushing this in as we go. Once we get it kind of close, I'll put the bottom ones in here. Make sure it's nice and snug. And then we can go through and torque. And I just like to alternate. So 18, 18, 18, 18, and then same thing here. And then I'll go over it all again. What's great about this is once you get it in there, we're finished, right? Oh goodness, that is close. But now we need to drive the seal in, and this works if you flip it around as a seal driver. See how nice and flush that'll set that seal? We'll get a rubber mallet, bump that thing in. We'll be done with the front cover. I'm officially out of parts at this point. I got that seal driven in. Man, that seal installer works great. Got the tool taken off, the oil pan simulator taken off the bottom. So at this point, we're finished until I get a few more parts. Like I said, I got lifters ordered. I need to get a set of heads, and need to do some cleaning, you know, before I obviously install some more parts. But the whole goal here was to get everything buttoned up. I did install the rear main cover, a brand new rear main, when I put this on the stand. I wanted to do that while it was in the air. So I did install the rear main cover, clean the same, just like I did up front. I actually buy a whole new rear main because it's easier to install, and honestly, they're the same price. They come with new bolts, they come with a seal, and the actual gasket. So it comes with everything when you do it that way. The front one, I always reuse those. I mean, obviously I'm gonna probably paint this and make it look a little nicer than what it is. The machine shop did paint the block black, but I may go over that again, and I think black is the color that I wanted. But anyway, we've got the cam installed, and you guys kind of got caught up on some, yeah, waiting on the Tahoe tuning. So if the Tahoe tuning doesn't happen soon, I'm probably going to push it out of the way and go ahead and get the red truck in here, because I do want to start on that. And really, I'm at a standstill on some of these other projects. So it's either waiting on money or motivation or parts, or it's just, I know I got a lot going on in here, but I'm sure some of you are also asking like, hey, doesn't the 55 already have a 6-liter in it? And it does. I actually test fit this 6-liter in it, and I was telling you that the pan, it's actually on there, the muscle car pan that fits this is on there. And the reason why is I wanted to test fit this motor. This 6-liter is it does have a cam in it. It's got some cleaned up 243 heads. That motor is actually going to go in the flat black Chevy truck back there. So the plan was just use it as a test fit motor because it was so clean. I didn't want an oily, nasty motor sitting down in there trying to fit stuff. So that motor needs to come out very soon. I also need to seal up some stuff on it. It already has lifters in it. It's got obviously heads on it. It's got rockers. It's pretty much ready to put covers on and test fit into the flat black Chevy back there. So we got a lot going on, but if you guys did enjoy this video, please, like always, smash that thumbs up button. Guys, if you think it's gonna be sweet for us to finally have a turbo green truck, let me know about it in the comments. Of course, like always, guys, if you're not subscribed, go down, hit the subscribe, ring that bell notification. That will notify you every time we drop a new video, and stay tuned to see what we work on next.